strange to me, but that is good for me also. Anyways, so we will plan one online test today. Probably we will finish this unit, and day after tomorrow we will plan one online test that will be of 20 marks. uh, Only objective type questions will be there, uh, and most probably whatever the PPTs that I have shared with you, so you have to prepare that only. Based on that PPT, I will generate some MCQ questions and I will conduct the test. Okay, so whatever we have learned,
Okay.
okay, so you have to go through that both PPTs, part 1 and part 2. Yes, I think I have shared you two PPTs based on this unit, right? Uh, yeah,
Yes,
there are
sir.
two. Yeah, there are two PDFs I have shared with you. So you have to prepare that two PDF files only, and based on that, I will prepare some questions for you, MCQ questions, and you have to appear for that online test. That will be through Google Form. I will paste that onto your group, probably 4:30 or 5 p.m. I will post that. That will be open for up to 9 p.m. 4 hours are sufficient, I guess, right, to solve just 20 marks question. Okay, so at 9 p.m. I will close that test, and result will you will get your results very next day. Clear, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. From boys side, do you have any problem with this? Kaushik Kulkarni. Why today's strength is so less? Only 55. Daily 10 to 15 students are remaining absent. I don't know why. Okay, anyways, we have planned that and we will execute that. Okay, so day after tomorrow, you have to appear for the test on unit number first of this DDH subject. So you have today, tomorrow, you have 2 days with you. So prepare accordingly. Okay. Okay, fine. Now we will start with the. Now we will start with the Now we will start with the next point, that is sub programs. Okay, so today we will cover this unit total, entire unit we will finish. Now we have already discussed what do you mean by sub programs. What do you mean by sub programs? So sub program, right, in VHDL, it is a kind of small program that consists of procedures and functions, and that can be invoked repeatedly from different location in VHDL description. Clear with? Means what do you mean by subprogram? Subprogram is a part of program which consists of procedures, functions, and that can be invoked, means called repeatedly from any location and by any architecture or entity present in the VHDL description. So that is all about the subprograms. Now, as I already mentioned, it has or it consists of procedures and functions, right? So it is actually the two different kinds of subprograms that are present in VHDL language. Procedure, you can consider that as a one or we can say one type of subprogram, and functions that you can consider as a one type of subprogram, right? And it can be the combination of functions as well as procedure to a one subprogram. Either it has to be either a procedure, or it has to be a function, or it has to be a combination of both. So this is what subprogram is. Now we will discuss the first type, that is functions. Now what is this function is? These functions are invoked as an expression. This is the first characteristics of function. It can be invoked as expressions. It can always return just one argument. Function can always return just one argument. Now what next? All parameters of function must be on mode in. We have studied the mode. There are three modes: input, output, and in-out mode. That means bidirectional input as well as output. So all parameters that you can using as a function must be of input type only. That should not be of output type or in-out type. So this is the third specification. What is the next specification? All parameters of function must be a class of signal or constant. Whatever the parameters that you are mentioning in this function, that must be a class of signal or constant. Function must declare the type of value it returns. Whatever the value that it going to returns, it always returns a single value, just one argument, but you have to declare its type along with that. You have to declare its type along with that. And the last specification is, it cannot contain wait statement. Function, you cannot include wait statement in a function. All of you clear with this? All of you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So again, I will repeat. Function are invoked as expression. It should return only a one argument. All the parameters of function must be of mode input. All the parameters of function must be class of signal or constant. It must declare a type of value that going to return, and it should not contain wait statement. So these are the 6 specifications of function. That means whenever you are writing a sub program that consists of functions, you have to take care of all these 6 parameters or 6 specifications. Any violation of any one of the specification, that function will not work properly. म्हणजे जेव्हा तुम्हाला एखादा सब प्रोग्राम लिहायचा असेल ऍज अ टाइप ऑफ फंक्शन, तेव्हा तुम्हाला हे 6 रूल फॉलो करणं गरजेचं आहे. यातला एक जरी रूल तुम्ही व्हायोलेट केला तर ते फंक्शन वर्क होणार नाही. सो दॅट इज ऑल अबाउट द फंक्शन. नाउ व्हॉट इज द सिंटॅक्स फॉर फंक्शन? सो यू कॅन एबल टू सी फंक्शन, then identifier interface list, return, its type is subprogram declarative item, then begin, sequential statements, and end identifier. Whatever the function identifier list you have started, you have to end with the identifier. Now this identifier defines the name of the function, and the interface list defines the formal parameters of the function. That means this identifier is a name of the function. Identifier म्हणजे ते तुम्ही त्या फंक्शनला किंवा त्या सब प्रोग्रामला दिलेलं नाव. आणि इंटरफेस लिस्ट म्हणजे काय? दॅट डिफाइन्स द फॉर्मल पॅरामीटर्स ऑफ द फंक्शन. त्या फंक्शन मधले फॉर्मल पॅरामीटर्स तुम्ही काय यूज केलेले आहे ते फंक्शन इंटरफेस लिस्ट मध्ये असतात. नाउ this each parameter can be using through the following syntax. ते पॅरामीटर यूज करायचे फॉलोइंग सिंटॅक्स आहेत. कुठला? क्लास. देर आर ओनली 2 क्लास, आयदर इट इज ऑफ सिग्नल और कॉन्स्टंट. मग तो सिग्नल आहे का कॉन्स्टंट आहे ते इथे लिहावं लागणार. देन नेम ऑफ द लिस्ट, व्हॉट यू हॅव टू गिव्ह द नेम टू दॅट लिस्ट. देन इट्स मोड, दिस शुड बी ऑलवेज इनपुट. देन टाइप नेम and the expression. So in this way you can write that identifier list or any parameter in that identifier list. You have to mention by using this syntax. Now this class should be a constant or signal, and main mode should be input mode only. We have already discussed this, right? This example you can see on the screen. Process, then functions, then this is what the function identifier, that means name of the function. Then function parameter, realize is variable f is of real type. Begin, this is the sequential statement group. Then end identifier, that means whatever the function identifier name of the function you have started, you have to end this name. Then again variable real begin, this time is what, again sequential line and process. So in this way you can write any function. Now what happens, if you don't mention the class of the object, and if you don't mention the any parameter specification. So in function it is provided that if no class is specified, parameters are interpreted as a class constant. म्हणजे फंक्शन मध्ये आपल्याला क्लास हे एकतर सिग्नल किंवा कॉन्स्टंटच यूज करावे लागतात. पण सपोज तुम्ही जर का क्लास तिथं मेन्शन केला नाही, तर बाय डिफॉल्ट व्हीएचडीएल त्याला कुठला म्हणून कन्सिडर करतं, कॉन्स्टंट. जर का तुम्ही कॉन्स्टंट किंवा सिग्नल हा त्या क्लास नेम लिहिला नाही, तर बाय डिफॉल्ट तो कॉन्स्टंट म्हणून कन्सिडरच होतो, कॉन्स्टंट म्हणून कन्सिडर होतो. And if you have mentioned as a signal, okay, then it will consider as a signal. Or if you have mentioned as a constant, then also it will consider as a constant. पण तुम्ही तो मेन्शनच केला नाही, तर बाय डिफॉल्ट ते काय कन्सिडर होतं, कॉन्स्टंट म्हणून कन्सिडर होतं. सो दिस इज व्हॉट this point you have to remember. So this is the functions. Now we will discuss the next type of subprogram, that is procedures. Now what do you mean by procedure? What do you mean by procedures? Now again, this procedure have the 5 specification, or this 5 set of rules that should invoke as a statement, where function is invoked as a expression. It can return none, one, or more than one argument. Procedure can return nothing, or it can return more than one argument, but function can return only one argument. The parameters of procedure may be of in, out, and in, out. बरोबर आहे. See, this is what we are actually describing the difference between functions and procedures also, right? Function मध्ये काय असतं, parameter of function should be of input mode only, but in case of procedure, parameter of procedure can be of input, output, and in, out mode. Now all parameters must be of class signal, constant, variable. Function मध्ये काय असतं, either signal or constant, and it may contain wait statement. फंक्शन मध्ये तुम्हाला वेट स्टेटमेंट लिहिता येतं का, नाही. प्रोसिजर मध्ये तुम्ही लिहू शकता, प्रोसिजर मध्ये तुम्ही लिहू शकता. सो ऍक्च्युअली दीज आर द फीचर्स ऑफ प्रोसिजर, and we have already discussed the features of functions. Okay, so in that way you have to understand this. Now again, syntax for the procedure. Okay, now procedure, again identifier means name of the procedure, then identifier list is, then subprogram declarative item begin, then sequential statement, and end identifier. Same syntax is same, just instead of function you have to write the procedure. That's it. Instead of function you have to write the procedure. Rest of the syntax is same. Okay, now again you know this identifier is a name of the procedure, and this identifier list is defines the normal parameter of the procedure. Again, for this identifier list you have to use this syntax. Again, syntax is also same, class, name list, mode, type, name, right, then expression. But in procedure it invoke as a statements. So we have written the expression, but it can be taken as a statements. Okay, now this class could be of constant, variable, or signal type, and this mode could be of in, out, or in, out type. हेच जर का फंक्शन असतं तर क्लास फक्त सिग्नल आणि कॉन्स्टंटचा, आणि मोड शुड बी इनपुट ओनली. बट इन केस ऑफ प्रोसिजर this class can be of constant, variable, or signal, and this mode can be of input, output as well as in-out mode. That means bidirectional. And rest of the case is constant, same. Now again, by default, if you haven't mentioned the class and if you haven't mentioned the mode, मग default इथं काय consider होतं तर same. The default parameters are input and class can be considered as constant, right? And the parameter mode of output and in-out are interpreted as a being of class variable. म्हणजे जर का तुम्ही इथे क्लास मेन्शनच केला नाही मगासारखं तर तो इथे पण बाय डिफॉल्ट कॉन्स्टंट म्हणून धरला जातो आणि इथे तुम्ही मोड स्पेसिफाय केला नाही तर तो इनपुट मोड म्हणून धरला जातो बाय डिफॉल्ट. By default it will take as a input mode. So this is all about the procedures. Okay, now here are some examples of how to use the procedure. So you can go through this slide. This procedure, then parity, right? A, we have defined the value of a bit vector 7 down to 0, that means it is of 8 bit. Then result 1, result 2. So these are the again some port or input output ports we have declared. Then variable temperature is of bit type. Begin, that means we have started our program here. Now these are the set of sequential statements. End, whatever you have started this program, you have to end that. So again, this is the second example. Architecture behavior of receiver is, so this is the simple program of procedure that used in a receiver. So begin, then process, variable, top, bottom, odd, dummy, right? This bit, then variable y is of bit vector 15 down to 0, that means it is of 16 bit. Begin. So this is the program, a simple program that we have considered. So in this way you can write the procedure, right? Again I will repeat, what is difference between the functions and procedure? Functions are invoked as a expressions while procedures are invoked as a statement. All parameters in functions should be of class either constant or variable, but in case of procedure, all parameters of functions can be of class variable, constant or signal. This is the second point or second difference. What is third difference? The mode, all parameters mode that you are using in a function should be of type in only, that means input mode only. In case of procedure, it can be of input, output or in-out mode. This is the third. Then we cannot use wait statement in a function, but we can use wait statement in procedures. Now what are the by default class and modes that are considered in functions? By default class is constant and by default mode is input mode. In case of procedure also, by default class is constant and by default mode is input mode. So this is the only similarity. Rest there is lot of difference between the functions and procedures. Clear? And again one major difference we have forgotten. Functions will return only one argument. Procedures can return none or more than one argument. So these are the 6 difference between the functions and procedures, and that you have to remember. Clear with this, all of you? समजलंय का? Or you want me to repeat this once again? परत सांगतो मराठीतून नीट ऐका. फंक्शन आणि प्रोसिजर मध्ये काय डिफरन्स आहे? फंक्शन कॅन रिटर्न ओनली वन आर्ग्युमेंट, ते एकच आर्ग्युमेंट रिटर्न करतं फंक्शन. प्रोसिजर कॅन रिटर्न नथिंग और मोर दॅन वन आर्ग्युमेंट. दिस इज द फर्स्ट डिफरन्स. व्हॉट इज सेकंड डिफरन्स? Functions are invoked as a expressions, whether procedures are invoked as a statements. This is the second difference. What is third difference? All parameters in functions that should be of class constant, either constant or signal. म्हणजे फंक्शन मध्ये क्लास कुठला पाहिजे? कॉन्स्टंट किंवा सिग्नल. प्रोसिजर मध्ये इट कॅन बी ऑफ कॉन्स्टंट, इट कॅन बी ऑफ सिग्नल और इट कॅन बी ऑफ variable. बरोबर आहे, कुठलाही क्लास चालतो प्रोसिजर मध्ये. दिस इज द थर्ड डिफरन्स. चौथा डिफरन्स काय आहे? द मोड ऑफ द पॅरामीटर इन अ फंक्शन इज और इट शुड बी ऑफ इनपुट मोड ओनली. फंक्शन मध्ये तो मोड कसा पाहिजे? इनपुट. इन केस ऑफ प्रोसिजर तो मोड कसा पाहिजे? इट शुड बी ऑफ टाइप आयदर इनपुट, आउटपुट किंवा बाय डायरेक्शनल, इन आउट, दोन सगळे मोड चालतात प्रोसिजर मध्ये. दिस इज द फोर्थ डिफरन्स. व्हॉट इज नेक्स्ट डिफरन्स? फंक्शन्स बाय डिफॉल्ट क्लास कुठला कन्सिडर होतो? कॉन्स्टंट. आणि बाय डिफॉल्ट मोड कुठला कन्सिडर होतो? इनपुट. द सेम थिंग इज इन प्रोसिजर ऑल्सो. प्रोसिजर मध्ये पण हेच होतं. हा चौथा डिफरन्स. पाचवा डिफरन्स काय? फंक्शन मध्ये वेट स्टेटमेंट नसतं किंवा तुम्हाला यूज करता येत नाही. प्रोसिजर मध्ये वेट स्टेटमेंट तुम्ही यूज करू शकता. हे 5 डिफरन्स फंक्शन आणि प्रोसिजर मध्ये आहे. अँड यू हॅव टू रिमेंबर दिस. ओके, I hope you are through with the example. Now, next part, the last part that we will discuss that about the packages. Already we have covered this in a start of our sessions only, but again we will repeat this. Now, you can create a package to store a common subprogram, data types, constant, etc. You can use more than one design. Package consists of two parts: package declaration and package body. Package declaration defines the interface of the package and its syntax is given below. Already we have discussed this part. Package has two parts: package declaration and package body. In the package declaration, you can have different data types, subprograms, constant, right? And in the package body, what you can write? In the package body, what you can write? The items that you are using, right? So you have to write that in package body. So this is about the package type and the syntax. Package name is package declarative part, then end package name. Already we have seen one example also of this package type. What is that? First, library. In that library, what package you are using? In that package, what package items that you are using? If you write dot all, that means all items you are using. So in this way you can use the package also. But what is purpose of using package? Whatever these sub programs you are writing, you can store that common sub programs in a package only. हे जे आपण सब प्रोग्राम्स म्हणजे फंक्शन्स किंवा प्रोसिजर आपण हे पाहतो, ते सगळे प्रोग्राम तुम्ही पॅकेज मध्ये स्टोर करू शकता. पॅकेज मध्ये स्टोर करू शकता, राइट? So already we have discussed this package. What do you mean by package and all that? We have already discussed this while discussing the entity port declaration, generic declaration, basic structure, right? So package also we have discussed. This the architecture part, behavioral, data flow, structural, then packages, package declaration, package body. This is the syntax for package declaration. This is the syntax for package body. This is the example of package declaration. Then configurations also we have studied. So this part we have already discussed. Here we have discussed the package declaration declares all the name of the items that will be seen by the design, and package body contains the implementation detail of the subprogram, right? So this is what we have discussed. Now again we will revise all this unit in a brief, and then we will conclude with this unit, right? So where we have started our journey, history of EDA tool and history of old age digital design, right? We have studied the history of EDA tools. Why we require EDA tool, what are the problems with the design, or what are the problems with the complex digital design that previous peoples or previous designers were facing. So that we have discussed. Then we have discussed the different EDA tools, right? Need of EDA tools. Then the product of EDA tool is HDL language, hardware description language, and most commonly that is used for the complex digital design circuit. Not complex, even you can simply design the AND gate also, but that is meant for a design of complex circuit, complex digital circuit. So that is the first and very important purpose to have the hardware description language. So that also we have studied. Then this hardware description language we have classified, or it is of two types. First one is a Verilog, second one is a VHDL, very high speed integrated circuit hardware description language. So it is of two types. Now then onwards we have started our discussion with the VHDL language. Now we have studied the basic structure of VHDL language. We have studied the specifications of VHDL language. That means VHDL language is not case sensitive. VHDL don't contain any hierarchical library by itself. VHDL is a 9-valued logic. So that is all specifications of VHDL language that we have studied. Then we have studied the basic architecture or basic structure of VHDL language. What is that? Library, entity, architecture. Now we have discussed the library. What do you mean by library? There are many types of libraries are available. Then what do you mean by entity? Its syntax. What do you mean by port declaration? What do you mean by generic declaration? That we have studied. Then architecture. In architecture, there are three types of architecture that we have discussed. First one is a behavioral style modeling. Second one is a data flow style modeling. And third one is a structural style modeling. Now, what is basic difference between these three? Behavioral style modeling just describes the behavior of the function and it uses the process statement. In data flow model, it describes the flow of data. It describes the flow of data. It mostly uses the Boolean equation and it can use process or it cannot use process. And in case of structural modeling, it represents the sub part of design. That means one design you can split into major parts and you can concatenate that. So this is what the structural modeling. And one more point we have studied in structural modeling is that process statement is not used in structural modeling, but it is compulsory used in behavioral modeling. So these are the three structures that we have studied. Then what we have studied? Data objects, three types of data objects: variable, constant, and signal, and difference between the variable, constant, and signal. That also we have studied. Then we have studied the data types, different types of data that you can use in VHDL language. For example, standard logic data, integer, bit vector, right? Then arithmetic, numerical type data. So we have studied all that data types. Okay. Then next part, what we have discussed? Data types. Then we have discussed the operators and operands. Operators means what? Which process that you want to perform, means whether it is addition, subtraction, ANDing operation, or not, NAND, NOR. So these are the operators. And what do you mean by operands? On which we are going to perform that operation. ऑपरेटर म्हणजे काय काय ऑपरेशन करायचंय? बेरीज करायचे, वजाबाकी करायचे, अँड करायचे, ऑर करायचे, नॅन्ड करायचे का नॉट करायचे, हे झाला ऑपरेटर. And we have studied the 6 classes of operator also, and depending upon the operands that we are preferring in that. And in operands म्हणजे काय? कशावर ते ऑपरेशन करायचे? ऍडिशन करायचे, बरोबर आहे, बेरीज करायचे, पण कुणाची करायचे? ए आणि बी ची बेरीज करायची, म्हणजे ए आणि बी काय झालं? ऑपरंड्स झालं. Now we have discussed different types of operands also. Then what we have discussed after operands, we have started with the sequential statement types, right? What are the sequential statement that we can use in VHDL language? So we have studied that sequential statement, assertion sequential statement, then different sequential statement that we have discussed, right? Case, loops we have discussed, for loop, if loop, all that we have discussed in that sequential statement type. Now after that, what we have discussed? Concurrent statements type, right? Different concurrent statement type. Process is a one or very important concurrent statement. Then assertion concurrent statement. Then signal assignment concurrent statement, variable assignment concurrent statement. So that all part we have discussed in concurrent statement type. Now after that concurrent statement, what we have discussed? Subprograms, right? The subprograms. What is use of the subprograms? Subprograms has two types: functions and procedures. And we have discussed its two. We have discussed this difference also. What is difference between the function and what is difference between the procedure? That also we have discussed. Then we have come to the last point of our discussion, that is packages, right? Packages has two parts: package declaration, package body. Already we have discussed this part. Again, one point I forgotten. We have discussed the configurations also. We have discussed the packages also, right? Already we have discussed, but this is the again repetition of the same. Now in this way we have discussed the all the, what we can say, the parameters and all the points that useful to write a VHDL code. आपण ह्या युनिट मध्ये काय डिस्कस केलं? हे सगळे पॉइंट्स की जेणेकरून आपल्याला वी शुड एबल टू राइट अ VHDL code or VHDL program for any design. For any design you have to write that VHDL code with the help of all this. You have to consider all this syntax, you have to use all this syntax, you have to consider all these cases, and then only you are now in condition to write any simple VHDL code. Clear with this? Now this is the end of unit number first, that is introduction to the EDA tools and VHDL programming. So I have shared the PPTs part A and part B with you. So you prepare that, and day after tomorrow we will conduct one online MCQ type test of 20 marks for you, and that will be the what we can say, good for you. So if you have any doubt or if you have any query regarding this, you can ask me right now. Yeah, unit number 1 मध्ये, if you want me to repeat some point, or if you understood everything, it's very good. But if you want me to repeat something, you can tell me right now, no problem. All of you are through with this unit? Then I suppose you don't have any query. You are through with this unit. Is it the case? सगळ्यांना सगळं समजलेलं आहे का? आणि असं मी गृहीत धरू का? काही क्वेरी असेल तर तुम्ही विचारू शकता आता. Soon I will share MCQ questions also. Probably today only I will share some MCQ question with you. So better you go through that also. So it will be helpful for the that online test. Today or day after tomorrow I will today or tomorrow I will share that, so that day after tomorrow it will be easy for you to appear for that online test. Clear with?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So officially I will declare here we have finished with the unit number 2. Probably from next lecture we will start with the second unit, that is VHDL designs for the combinational and sequential logic circuit. In that, actually what we supposed to do is we have to write and we have to actually perform the some combinational or sequential logic VHDL programs. We supposed to write now actually the VHDL code for the combinational and sequential circuits in that unit. So we will start with the basic AND gate, OR gate, then we will go for some complex designs such as multiplexers, encoder, decoder. Then we will jump on to the sequential design, that means flip-flops, then arithmetic and logical unit that we will design. It's very simple. When you have studied the arithmetic and logical unit, you may have think it's the most complex, but now with the help of this VHDL, you can now see how easy it is to design a simple ALU unit, arithmetic and logical unit. Very easy. Just 10 line codes and you have designed the 4-bit arithmetic and logical unit. Very simple with the help of VHDL. And that's why only we are using this HDL tool or a EDA tool, that is VHDL. It has solved so many complex designing problem in the digital system. So many complex designing problem. This VHDL has made us such a easy solution to all these complex problems, and it is a very good language. So, and for your future scope also, if you want to pursue a career in a VHDL, so you will be at very after few years, this VHDL technology and VHDL market is going to boom like anything. So you can grab this opportunity. Okay, don't always rush in IT industry and all that, means only computer related fields. We have our core domains, right? So, and the VADL is such a domain that will be at what we can say peak within this 2-3 years. So if you have interest in this, okay, go for some online training course or online vocational course related to this VADL design, and your future will be bright, that I guarantee you. So I will declare the end of unit number first, and I assume you don't have any query. You have through with all the points that I taught you, and day after tomorrow you have to appear for the online test related to this unit. And there is one more warning from my side: don't remain absent for the test. Right? It is online actually, but don't take it lightly, okay? Because that will be considered as your class test or unit number first test, that marks, right? So that will be directly contribute to your term work calculation. So don't miss that test. Do attend, and again, don't fail also, okay? Study and try to clear that state with good marks. Clear, all of you? समजलंय का मी काय सांगितलं ते?
Yes, sir.
टेस्टला कुणी अबसेंट राहू नका. हेच मार्क तुमच्या पुढे टर्मवर कॅल्क्युलेशनला मी धरणार आहे, कळलं? आणि नुसते अपियरी होऊ नका, पास व्हा, चांगल्या मार्कांनी पास व्हा. ती टेस्ट ऑनलाईन टेस्ट आहे, 20च MCQ आहेत. ते जे मी तुम्हाला 2 PPT शेअर केलेल्या आहेत त्या व्यवस्थित त्याचा स्टडी करा. यू विल गेट द गुड मार्क्स, नो प्रॉब्लेम. समजलंय सगळ्यांना? समजलंय का?
Yes, sir. हाँ, sir.
Okay, fine. We will stop here. From next lecture, we will start with the unit number